Good evening. It is on a different night. It's a Tuesday night. Today's date is the March 19th, 2019. I want to apologize first off for our delay. We have a connection issue going on. We're connecting with Doug Monda over in California. He's on his Honor Walk 2019. The system utilizes a laptop. Doug had a cell phone, so we had some really, really tough time. And producer Jesse was shaking his legs. He's wiggling his eyes. He was really stressed out over this. I mean, we've actually been working on it since 6 o'clock. Yeah. So we got it somewhat together. So we're able to connect with Doug in California he's live on his Honor Walk 2019. He's with Daniel Garcia with him, is his partner in crime doing that. So we're going to get started here. I know we're a little bit late, but I want to welcome everybody to the live show, and it's a great show because Doug's getting a lot of progress on this Honor Walk, and he's going to talk more about where he's at and what he's in up and coming. Tonight I'm going to have lovely Karen Monda with me tonight. She is here live in the studio, and she's going to co-host with me, and she's got some information, and she's going to. I'll let her Q&A with Doug, and it'll be his wife questioning him. So thank you, everybody, for joining in. And, hey, Doug, do we have you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, we hear you good. And I hope everybody in the audience can hear you as well. So let me just start out with, so, Doug, where are you at right now?
We literally just pulled out of the parking lot of the Google headquarters.
Okay, and California?
I have no idea where I'm at. Yeah, well, I'm in California. We're just south of San Francisco.
How's the weather?
You said the name earlier.
Oh, wherever the Google headquarters is in California, that's where he's at. But it's Mountain View, California.
Yes, Mountain View. That's where we're at.
I seen your video, and it looked like the weather was perfect for you.
Oh yeah, weather's been really nice so far. A little cold, but no rain and sun shining out here in beautiful California.
Not like here.
No, I left it.
And I'll tell you what, people, Doug is not tech savvy like myself, and I think he was saying he was going to readmit himself back in the cuckoo house because it was really stressful for him to try to download this, download that, connect with this, connect with that, in the field, in a car, in a strange area. So
and driving in California traffic, and I got the pastor Daniel Garcia with me praying over here because I'm cussing and saying all kinds of foul things.
Yeah. So Doug, why don't you I'll let Karen, can you talk to Karen and let Karen she knows more about the progress you're doing and more about, and then let her ask you about Daniel Garcia and everything else, and so the people out there can know what you're doing and what the cause is for. So, Karen, why don't you go ahead and interview your husband?
Thanks, Vinnie. Hi,
Great.
babe. I won't ask you anything that you don't want to answer.
Yeah. The cats are doing fine, by the way.
Yeah, the cats are doing fine. As you saw by that picture I sent you earlier this morning.
I'm so excited.
Well, first of all, they kicked off everything yesterday in San Francisco, and there were some... I talked to Doug a little bit, along the way, and when they came out of the hotel, they had some police officers waiting there for them. So I can't call him Doug. It's not in my vocabulary. So
what do you want to call him, babe?
I call him babe,
What else? Pumpkin? Pumpkin? What does she call you, Doug? Pumpkin? Boo? Hey, boo.
Babe.
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 Well, call him whatever kid names you want to call him because it's all good here. Nobody's listening. It's just you and him.
So go ahead and tell us about how yesterday went in San Francisco.
Well, we started off yesterday. We got to meet with San Francisco Police Department. Or not the entire department, some of the guys. Then we continued to walk. Once we got down towards San Francisco Bay Area, we met with some of the firefighters, and we just were able to spread our message, give them information, let them know what we're doing, who we're working with, and what we were doing, why we were out there, and spread the word of of hope for PTSD and suicide awareness in this career.
Yeah. Now Danny started. I think that the inception was it for the veterans? Is that what his original march was doing? The walk was for veterans, and now he's expanded to because of the tremendous amount of deaths that are occurring in first responders, and I think he recognized that also needs to spread into the first responders as well.
Yes, yeah. Matter of fact, Danny's right here next to me. He can hear you, and why don't I let him fill you in? I'm
okay.
About to. Let me turn you over to him.
Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity of hearing our story. It is quite a story, and I never thought that. I guess I've been waiting for a long time to do this, and it's now happening. So I guess the bottom line is that originally I'd already walked by foot around the world, more than 26,000 miles through 6 continents. I've already had military U.S. Marines cover my back across the United States and semplify to them. And it wasn't just Marines, it was all kinds of people from my first walk across the United States. And then I continued around the world. So then I was praying. I said, okay, God, what do you want me to do? I got 74. My birthday's coming up and I'll be 74 years old. So I said, I want you to walk. And okay, so where do you want me to walk from? From San Francisco to New York. And shortly after that, I had met Doug at my house. He was introduced by another Doug, who is working at Patrick Air Force Base and is a retired lieutenant colonel. It's not just a walk for veterans, and veterans have PTSD. I'm dealing with PTSD. I'm a Vietnam veteran. I served also during the Cuban crisis in '62.
Thank you again. Thank you very much for your service, man.
So I met Doug, and he came to my house, and we talked. And when we talked, we talked for 4 hours, and I felt that what Doug was doing was a whole nother chapter, a whole nother opportunity to reach people who are dealing with PTSD. I understand what that's like, and so does Doug. So we combined forces, put our heads together, put our agreements together, and we decided to do this walk.
Yeah.
And that I want to help him. Also.
Well, I'm sure you saw the numbers. You've seen the numbers when it comes to the death in law enforcement and first responder law enforcement, and I'm more familiar with that because I served 32 years in law enforcement, and the numbers of suicides surpassed the line of duty deaths. I mean, these cops were getting killed in the line of duty, and those were being passed by officers taking their own lives. So it was definitely kept under the rug for a long time because law enforcement officers were afraid to bring that out. Number one, they didn't know how to talk about it. They didn't know how to recognize it. Agencies didn't know how to recognize it. And, on a daily basis, law enforcement see so many tragic incidents, deal with everything. They see, homicides, children's deaths. They deal with a lot on a daily basis. It's not they go to war and they come back and they don't see it. These guys deal with it every single day, and that's including firefighters because they're saving lives, they're finding dead people, they're resuscitating people, and it's a tough life. So it's hopefully now with Doug's persistence that he's getting the word out there and he's spreading it, and now that people realize that it's a serious matter in law enforcement as well. Because technically, the law enforcement over here are basically the military for our country. We're the ones who enforce the government, the laws of the land. Law enforcement deal with it on a daily basis. So I applaud you for what you're doing. So when did your first walk?
I did my first walk from San Francisco to New York in 1996, December the 7th, with $48 in my pocket. Going through PTSD, I was really messed up. I didn't even know it. And that's what happens a lot of times. I'm a former law enforcement officer. Mm-hmm. Also, I serve for federal corrections and all kinds of other crazy stuff. And it's a war zone out here. And, a lot of people just don't understand. It's not just being aware. They don't understand what a cop goes through. You know, you're always on guard. You're always, you know, a lot of people just don't understand. It's not just being aware. They don't understand what a cop goes through. You know, you're always on guard. You're always, a lot of people just don't understand.
Hey, Dan, could you get a little bit more volume into you, like either in the mic or get the phone closer to you?
You're always on guard. You're always, a lot of people just don't understand.
Hey, Dan, could you get a little bit more volume into you, like either in the mic or get the phone closer to you?
You're always on guard.
Okay.
We'll kind of reconnect.
Hey, we're gonna try to reconnect with Dan and Doug. I think we're having some, like I said, we're dealing with mobile phones, so they didn't have the accessibility to a laptop. So Karen, I'm sure you've talked to Doug. Today they started today or yesterday?
Yesterday is when they started the walk. They were in San Francisco and made their way to Half Moon Bay, which is south of San Francisco, and they spent the night there last night. And I believe today they spoke with the police department and the fire department at Half Moon Bay. Tomorrow they will head out to San Jose, or I should say Danny will head out to San Jose. Doug will actually have to be flying home tomorrow. And what Doug is going to do is intermittently fly back and forth and join in the walk as it progresses along across the country.
So he'll have some points that he's going to join in and then and continue the walk. And because how long is this going to take? Oh, July. Dan's going to walk. Daniel Garcia's going to walk till July.
Yes. It will end in July. We are hoping for somewhere around July 4th, I believe, for them to be in Washington, D.C., and shortly after that to be in New York City.
Are they coming through Florida?
They will be coming through Florida in May. So for those of you that are here in Florida, we are going to need a lot of support. We need a lot of support for the entire thing. But those of you who are with us that are in Florida, we're going to need a lot of support for that.
And I'm telling you, this is a serious topic. And I know, I always want to get in here and talk about crazy stuff, but there's a time when the word needs to be put out and it needs to be recognized by people and agencies. And I was just telling Karen earlier that the Pasco County Sheriff's Office here in Florida implemented the first program in the nation recognizing the rapid growth of suicide in law enforcement. And I think they had 3 in the last few months, 3 Pasco County or Tampa Bay area that were committed suicide. So they're implementing a program to assist. Let me see if we got Doug back on the line here. Doug, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you good, man, loud and clear. So Karen was just updating us on your start yesterday, and could you tell us where you started today and what kind of reception were you getting from people, and do you have escorts through the whole way?
No, we don't have escorts through the whole way. Danny actually has some that will probably start tomorrow. He's headed to Vandenberg Air Force Base. Obviously, I have to leave the walk for a couple days to take care of some Survive First business. But we ended up in Half Moon Bay last night. We started at Half Moon Bay this morning. We walked to the local sheriff's department. And from the sheriff's department, we walked to the fire department, San Mateo County. And we met with both. We met with the law enforcement agency, with the sheriff's department. They were amazing. I can't believe how friendly everybody's been to us, how good, and the conversations. I was glad to hear that San Mateo County just had PTSD training. They did it themselves. However they did it, I didn't get into that. And then we went to the fire department, Half Moon Bay Fire Department, and they took us into their fire department. They were really good to us. They gave us stuff to drink. They showed us around. their equipment. We had some conversations. We've taken pictures with everybody. Everybody's taking pictures with us, which, usually we're like, hey, can we take a picture? They're asking us, hey, can we take a picture with you guys? So it's been really, really nice.
So how many miles did you guys do today?
I don't know, because my little mile meter thing, I'm not tech savvy enough to figure it out. It's not working, but I can tell you this, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Hey Dan,
hurts.
Hey Dan, if you can hear me, how are you holding up, man? And how old are you now? Are you 74 or are you older? Or I know I heard the number 74.
Can you imagine? I was staying in the same room on my birthday with Doug, my 74th birthday.
He started this on his 74th.
Oh, wow.
It was yesterday.
I was 74 yesterday.
God bless.
I wanted my birthday to be something that was a gift to the whole world. I didn't want to just stay in my house and blow candles and stuff like that.
Right.
I wanted to do something for everybody, and I think this was a great start, and I'm very honored. And I usually have security or whatever, but to have somebody like Doug, who, I really love him, respect him, believe him, I want to help him. I guess one of the things that we need, bottom line, no joking, just straight to the point. We need vehicles. We need a driver to cover my back when I'm walking, when Doug's not here and has a vehicle. It's really dangerous out there.
Mm-hmm.
I've been hit by cars almost many, many times. So we have a route. It's on our website, globalwalk.cc, or it's on, I think, Doug's website.
I have, Danny. I've posted it on our Survive First Facebook page. So anyone who goes on there can scroll down to one of my recent posts, and they can pull up all the maps for the different phases. I think there are 6 phases.
Yeah, and those 6 phases, and we're talking about getting to New York by July. My wife I got to stop in May. For some degree, my wife is having surgery for cancer.
She's on here, Danny. She's listening because I have seen a few comments for her. Hi, Jackie.
Jackie is a retired lieutenant colonel in the Air Force and a graduate of the Air Force Academy. Her brother is a graduate of West Point, and he's a retired colonel. Our father retired 30-some years. He was from Guam. Let me tell you, we got
Wow.
military all around us.
Yeah, and what you're doing is an amazing cause, and we hope that it gets recognized by, so many people, because I'm telling you, Danny, you're a man of experience. You're a man of God. You know what needs to be done, and you're putting yourself out there, risking your life, walking on these streets of states where people don't know what the hell they're doing for driving, and I'm glad Doug's there as your wingman. And, we look forward to you arriving in Florida, which I think that's going to be in May.
If I could just kind of segue from that, they will be here in May. And as Danny was saying, his wife, Jackie, will be having surgery. So when I say that we're really going to need the troops to support us in May, we really, really need that. Because Danny will be with us, but he'll also need to be at home with Jackie while she recovers.
I think I'm going to put myself out there right now. I know I have a trip planned in May, but the first week of May, it's like May 5th, I think. But other than that, I don't have any plans for May. So I definitely am going to get out there and whatever I can do with Doug. We'll do a podcast from the road. We can do a mobile podcast from the road. Producer Jesse's just chiming in. So Jesse's all for it too, man. Jesse's a believer in this, There's so many people that do believe in what the purposes of recognizing post-traumatic stress and the suicides that are occurring in our first responders across the nation. And it's a serious topic. And Karen, anything further?
That's producer Jesse to you, buddy.
Yeah, I did say producer Jesse.
I can't get over that, man.
Doug, I'm telling you, man, I love what you're doing, man. I mean, you are... you got your heart and soul in this, man, and as long as you make a difference with one person. But did you hear me before that I said a Pasco County Sheriff's is starting this new program for recognizing suicides with their law enforcement officers? They're starting a program It's a wellness program. And
I saw the article.
I think I sent it to you on a text. And it's you know what, it needs to start being recognized, and it needs to be starting to share through other sheriffs in their sheriff association meetings, and the importance of it, man, because I'm telling you, it's crazy. I mean, these people have more reasons to live than to die, and for whatever reason, you know, their zone partners, we talked about it in one of your episodes, the zone partners, and I guess they talk more about, you know, shop than they do about, you know, personal, you know, problems and stuff, because any suicide can be prevented.
Well, they do.
Yeah, any suicide can be prevented, man.
Absolutely. Well, I know a couple weeks ago when you had your first show, I think that we were saying that the number of verified suicides just 2 weeks ago was maybe 45 or 46 for law enforcement officers.
And that was last week, right?
Maybe 2 weeks ago, but maybe last week. It grows every day. And as of this weekend, they now have 52 verified law enforcement suicides. I wish we could get the data on firefighters because we know that's out there as well. But for law enforcement officers, 52. And we're not even, I don't think we're even 80 days into 2019.
Wow.
So that's pretty crazy.
Hey, Danny, I seen a thing. It was, I think, Doug, I shared it with you. It was regarding the amount of military personnel that they were saying that it was approximately 22 military veterans a day choose to end their lives a day.
Yeah, that's radical.
Yeah.
And I, you know, I'm not a statistics guy, but there's so many more military guys than there are cops.
Oh, yeah.
I would be willing to bet that if you broke it down number for number, it's the same.
Yeah, yeah. The amount of military versus the amount of law enforcement. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they both share military and law enforcement share a very common denominator, and I would be willing, and firefighters. I mean, I think trauma is trauma.
Yeah.
You know, people ask me all the time, you know, when they hear about my career, they say, "Oh man, that's such a stressful job." And I always tell everybody, stress on a scale of 1 to 10, a 10 is a 10.
Yeah.
And whether you're a firefighter, you're a cop, or you're military, you know, for lack of better terms, you're getting it broken off in you every day.
Yep.
And sooner or later, the fire chief from Half Moon Bay, which is San Mateo County, he told me today, he goes, you know what? The only thing I know is that you get a bucket, and and every day you pour more water in that bucket doing this job, and sooner or later the bucket overflows. And that we both, and I use the wheelbarrow effect in my teaching program, and it's the same thing. So whatever your analogy is, everybody's going to have their moment. And you said something earlier, Vinnie, about, you know, the guy's not talking about it and the guy's not dealing with it and talking shop. And I run across cops that are like, "Oh man, I'm fine. You know, I'm super cop. You know, no problem." I see the look on their face and their attitude.
Right.
But that's the funny thing about this disease is, Vinnie, you know me, man. I showed up from work every day, and I was the first person to put my foot in someone's ass.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, you know, no problem, no big deal. Well, that's the sinister thing about this disease, is that you don't know it's sneaking up on you. And it just happens one day. And that's what happened to me. Yeah. It just happened.
And you know, Doug,
no idea.
They tend to, like, when you have something traumatic, you know, an incident, that's a pretty traumatic incident. And, you know, the guys do reach out to you. You know, hey, if you need anything, just call, you know, and if you don't call them, they're not going to check back up with you. And then the phone calls and the concerns seem to fade away within a day or two.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you're telling everybody, yeah, I'm all right. But if somebody knows what trauma is, and people, you know, people absorb it differently. You know, some people are fine and some people aren't. But you can't control your brain. You know, you can't say you're fine if it's inside your brain that it's not going to be fine. And the follow-ups never go far enough. They stretch to, you know, and that's the way cops do. That when I had mine, hey, I had probably calls after call after call. But then the next day, and everybody was, hey, call me if you need anything. I shouldn't have to, people shouldn't have to reach out to the person to need something. They should just automatically recognize the trauma, recognize what that person may need, and give them the support on a daily basis. People will say, I don't want to bother them. I don't want to bother them. And that's the problem. Karen, go ahead. You had something to say?
I can't remember what I was going to say. I was listening. I was deep into what you were saying, and then I forgot.
Were you going to say something to Boo?
I'm not sure, Boo. Baby cat.
Hey, Daniel. Danny, anything else you want to get out? We're gonna be taking a break, and then I don't want to keep you guys on too long because Doug, when you get back and when you get your whatever, we're gonna get you back on to debrief us more on your Honor Walk 2019. But any final words, Danny?
I think there's so much to say, and I just wanted to just mostly say, I love you guys, and we love you, and this is why we're doing this. We're doing this for people who out there who really need help, and if there's anything we can do, just call. But don't do anything to hurt yourself. God doesn't want that. You don't need that. There are people out there that care, and we care. And you have our numbers and our website. Just give us a call, and it's confidential. It's just between us and God, and we're there for you, no matter what.
We're gonna put that information on my podcast page. Danny, you're a man of God, and it's can't be spoken any better than what you're doing, man. And you sound so sincere about it, and you got a great guy with you. And Karen, anything you want to say to the two gentlemen there before we?
Travel safely, and your two ladies have your backs here at home. Oh, and Doug, if Doug is listening, Doug R.
DR.
Oh.
Are y'all hanging up with us?
We're gonna go on break, but we'll keep you on during the break, and then we'll go through. We'll discuss the next plan.
All right, cool.
Hang on the line. Thank you, everybody, and we're gonna be back in a few minutes. Vinnie Marino Podcast.
You're listening to Space Coast Podcast, home of the greatest podcasts on the Space Coast. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or having your own show, email us at spacecoastpodcast@hotmail.com. Space Coast Podcast. Talk hard!
Hey, make sure you check out Space Cowboy Justice with your hosts, Blake Stewart and Paul Daly. We're going to be talking about interesting legal issues in the entertainment industry and everything geek. If you're into Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, comic books, we're talking about it. Coming at you from the Space Coast Podcast Studios.
Steven,
Why, yes, Christopher.
what are you doing?
I am scribing down some ideas for the next podcast of the Black Dog Confessional.
Oh, Mitzi had spoke of that. She said it is rather wonderful.
Well, we tried to succeed, Christopher. We tried to succeed. We're talking about all the proper etiquette techniques that we can this week.
Do you think everyone is listening?
I definitely believe so, Christopher.
Well, if they're not, they better get on their game!
Yes, we are back. I love that stripper music, man. Swing on a pole, yeah, get your dollars. Oh, yeah. Great music, man. Producer Jesse, man, he tears it up with that. I don't know why he plays that music. I think he thinks I like the stripper music.
Our Reverend needs to say a prayer for you.
Y'all need Jesus.
Oh, Danny's still on. Oh,
Yeah, he's still on.
sorry, Pastor. Is he a Reverend or a pastor? I'm trying to.
It's Reverend.
Okay,
It's Reverend.
Reverend. I was talking about like stripping like paint, not like.
Yeah. Vinny, y'all relax. He's traveling with Diablo himself, so he's okay.
Well, I want to welcome everybody back from our break. It's kind of hard to disconnect from these guys, man. I'll tell you. We're very passionate what they're doing, and I mean, even if he just breathes air, we just want to keep him online with us, you know. But I'll tell you, he said Reverend, right? Reverend.
Yes.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to meet you. I'm going to see, because you've still got a long way to go ahead of you, and I might have to fly out there with Doug and join forces with you. And it wouldn't hurt me any, because I could definitely use some steps. But
and he could pray for you.
Yeah,
pray with you.
And you know what? Reverend, I suffer from a lot of this post-traumatic stress, and I don't deal with it with anybody. I deal with it my own way, and it's difficult. So I'd love to just have the three of us walking and talking, and listening to the Word of God, man. That you would instill on us. So.
The power of God and His Word is so. It healed me. I had a breakdown. I mean, I was a vegetable for a year from this, and I couldn't function. And God just touched my life. He physically, spiritually touched my life, and saved me from death, both physical and mental and everything else, and changed my whole life. And then I started walking. But if my wife is still on the phone, I'd like her to say a word or two, because she's
not on the phone.
She is. No, she's not on the phone, but she's on Facebook, so she can hear everything we're saying, and she makes comments.
Okay.
So
because Jackie has been with me for 10 years, and she has seen the miracles. This is a miracle walk. We have people donating rooms to us that don't even know us. We was just staying in San Francisco 2 days. We had somebody pay the bill. That's $600. That's
wow.
Her name is Lynn Barbatos, and they're out of Massachusetts. We had another. The people at the hotel we're staying now said, stay another day, stay 2 days, because it gives you time to do all the running around you have to do. We don't want you sleeping outside, and so we're staying here tonight. And then we leave in the morning, and we get to the airport so that Doug can fly out and do what he's got to do. And then I just keep going on and get to the bases. Vandenberg is expecting me. I want to reach the Marine Corps Pendleton base, because the Marines there, I've walked across that base. It took me several days to walk.
Camp Pendleton you talking about?
Yeah.
That's out in California, right?
Yeah.
That's San Diego.
Yeah. Okay. Dan? Are you on course? Are you on course to hitting your spot on time, or, I mean, what are you doing about the weather? Like, if the weather gets really inclement?
I walk in the rain. I walk in the snow. I've done it in Paris. It was up to my knees. I still walk. I don't, because the weather's bad, I don't say, well, I'm not going to walk, right?
Yeah.
So I just tighten up, and I walk in the rain, and I get wet, or if it's cold, and I double up on clothing. I just do it.
So when you're walking, what kind of reception do you get from just passerbys? I mean, do you walk? I think you're carrying a big American flag with you, right?
Yeah.
How'd
you know that?
He's seen the pictures on Facebook.
He saw the pictures.
I told you we have you
powers.
We have you covered here on social media.
Danny's he's about, he can't even text me, man. When he gets pictures, I have to take his phone and send them to him.
I'm not an IT, or that's just not my thing. My wife is the guru on that. But,
so are you getting good reception from people? They blowing the horn at you? You getting any kind of feedback from passerbys? And does anybody ask? Pull up and say, "Hey, cool. What are you doing?"
Well, we have people that beep their horns.
Yeah, they beep.
We have people that stop. People that want to take pictures of us. They want to take pictures.
We had a family today that stopped us. The kid and the family stopped us and wanted to take pictures with us. And the little kids were thanking us for serving the country. And we have veterans that have stopped and walked up to us. It's been wonderful. The Half Moon Bay Inn, they just opened their doors. Like, we're staying in this lap of luxury, man. They for free. They just said, no, what you're doing is wonderful, and stay an extra day and meet more people in this area and help them out. I mean, it's amazing.
So, Vinnie, I just wanted to add this, really, listening to what Danny and Doug have said about how this has all worked out, this really is a walk based solely on faith.
Yeah.
There is a plan But as we met with Danny and Doug R.D.R. The other week, our 4-hour meeting, Danny was explaining to us that this truly is a walk on faith. There's a plan, but not everything is set in stone. They don't necessarily have places to stay. They don't have, people on the ground in every single area right now waiting for them. But as we've seen just from yesterday, it's all coming together, which is incredible.
Vinnie,
Yeah.
there's no operational plan, Ray.
Yeah.
That's a joke between cops.
Yeah.
Every supervisor wants an operational plan, and we all know you can't even wipe your butt with those things.
Yeah,
Babe,
exactly.
I didn't know if you wanted me to actually say anything, but I was telling these guys when I first got here that yesterday or maybe on Sunday night, you were almost having a borderline anxiety attack because you did not have that plan. But now how it's all just coming together and how incredible it is that everywhere you go, something has already happened to make it work for you guys. It's pretty incredible.
It unfolds. Yeah, I was starting to stress out because I needed to know, that's the SWAT guy that comes out at me. I got to have a plan of attack. But so many people, my phone just rings off the hook. I didn't even have a plan to get out here.
How do you charge your phone? Do you have enough charge to go through this day of walking?
Yeah, I charge it. I bring it with me. I got one of them little power packs. I'm carrying about 60 pounds of gear on my back.
Oh man, I need to be there. I need to do some of that.
Fun.
Hey,
Vinny, real quick.
Yeah.
Couple law enforcement companies. A place, Biosound Technologies out of Clearwater. They just got a hold of Karen when they heard we were doing and gave us financial support. And then Chateau Recovery out of, I say Salt Lake City, but a little north of Salt Lake by Park City. They just said, hey, man, where you got to go? And I said, well, I got to get to California. And the next thing you know, I got an email with a plane ticket.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey,
these guys are
it's been pretty cool.
That Biosands, is that the company that's doing the Pasco County Wellness?
They might be.
I think so.
They have this high tech bed.
That's incredible.
I know they're putting them in St. Pete and their PD, but and I think St. Pete. I know they're going to Fayetteville. They're in every treatment facility, but they're. It was the only thing that worked for me when I was in treatment, and it's just a device. I say it's a bed. It's not like a bed in your bedroom, but it's like a fancy couch or a chair. And I'm not educated enough to get specific, but the technology helps you recover from pain and PTSD and lack of sleep, and it's a wonderful piece of equipment.
It's like biofeedback. We both tried it out a couple months ago. I think in January, we were with Biosound, and they had both of us each lay on our own bed, and they put the headphones on us, and they put they're like sunglasses, but they black everything out, and basically it's almost like a meditation almost, but it was incredible.
Cool stuff, man.
Yeah, we both woke up. Well, I say woke up because I think you said I might have even been snoring at one point. I was kind of so relaxed, but when it ended, we both just stood up and were amazed.
So let me ask Danny this, because I don't know if people understand the magnitude of him and his mission. Can you tell me, Dan, how many, what type of people have you met? I'm talking like government officials, presidents.
I've been with kings and presidents and world leaders. If you see globalwalk.cc, you'll see a lot of the people that have opened their doors, their hearts, their countries, like in Costa Rica or Africa, where my wife and I went to South Africa, Uganda, Ethiopia, and Sudan, and we were part of the introducing them to what we were doing, and they made it a national holiday. They didn't have that before. Walking across the Middle East in places like Syria and Iraq, where we had 20,000 Muslims walking with me, singing to me.
Wow.
You just met Mad Dog Mattis.
Yeah, Mad Dog Mattis. We met him in Florida, and in Washington, D.C., as part of Honor Flight, which I was invited to. My wife was my guardian angel, along with another gentleman, Glenn Sandler, who was with GI Tax. You know, I don't know what I'm doing. I really don't know what I'm doing, and it's
the
not
best.
about
The best thing to do is when you don't have a plan. It just everything falls in.
Yeah, and that's why. And one of the things that I've said from the beginning, because I've seen this happen so many times, even if I'm ministering the gospel, I can't make plans because God changes them. I don't change them; He changes them.
Yeah.
And I just got to follow His lead, and it's really a matter: are you listening to the Spirit of God speaking to you, saying no, or stop, or go this way? And it takes discipline to listen because you got to be still. And so I've learned to do that, thank God, reading the Bible and being still and trusting in God. We have a church, a fellowship that's over my umbrella that has 2,500 churches involved in this. We have ministries involved in this. We have a lot of people involved praying for us right now. So if anybody out there prays, please keep us in your prayers.
Yeah, your wife sent a message to me, and I heard some of the names, but I'm just going to reiterate. Your wife is saying that you met Mother Teresa.
Yep.
Ali.
Muhammad Ali, yes.
Muhammad Ali. Oh, wow. I don't know if that was okay. King Hussein.
King Hussein.
Pope John Paul II.
4 times. He helped me to get into the United Nations to make a presentation to the UN.
Jackie O. That's Jackie O. Kennedy.
Onassis. My father was being honored at the Lincoln Center, and she came, and we took the picture. Everybody knew who Jackie was in the articles, but they didn't know who I was, and I was presenting her with a gift, thanking her on behalf of my father, who was in the hospital dying of cancer.
Wow. And she says, and General Mattis.
Mattis. Yeah. I didn't know him, I didn't know him at all, but when I went to Honor Flight, he was there at the Washington Memorial, and I went up to shake his hand along with the other vets, and he said, "You don't know me, do you?" I said, "No, sir." He said, "I know you. You walked across my base, and I was the commanding general there." And
wow.
I said, "What?" My mouth just dropped. I said, "Sir, I didn't even know that." He said, "Yeah, you got a PhD in walking. Every Marine knows you."
So I wanted to get that out because I want people to understand the magnitude of how much you've been involved with this and how recognized it is by, very famous people, very powerful people. It's just not a guy just grabbing, sneakers, a backpack, and a flag and just hitting the road. He's got, he's recognized all over the world, people.
And he's made a difference all over the world.
Well, that's through the grace of God. I'm not a politician. I'm not running for money. I've never asked. Jackie and I don't make any money. We do it free, just like Doug.
Yeah.
When I heard Doug, I said, that was a sign. He's me. So we have a lot in common. Really what we're doing is getting the message out there, trying to bring people together because there seems to be so much bickering and so much division in our country. And the bad guys are watching this. And they're using this.
That's our weakness.
So we need, as people, to put down our differences. God doesn't want us to fight against each other. He wants us to love each other. And if we don't agree on something, then we need to put it in His hands and let Him give us the answer. And that comes through prayer. And that's what I'm doing is I can't do this walk. I cannot do it. I have to have God help me to do it, both physically, mentally, spiritually, and also get the word out to people to help us because we need help. It's just really that simple. What God talks about in the Bible, Jesus says, if somebody knocks on your door and, and they're looking for a glass of water or bread, give it to them.
Right.
And if they don't, turn around and dust your feet, keep walking.
Yeah.
And so it's okay. Whatever we're doing is okay. If people can help, we appreciate that. If you can't, it's okay. And by the way, we're praying for everybody. I realized something the other day, Vinnie. There's 40 million people, men and women, that have served our country today, as of today. 40 million. That's a lot of people. And you know what? I'm walking for them, whether they are alive or whether they have passed. I'm walking for them because I don't want us to forget what they given. I've got friends of mine who gave their lives, and they're not here today, and they haven't had a chance to see their kids. And I've been with law enforcement officers who are on the front lines every day, as you were talking about. This is not a game. This is about life and death. And we want to help to bring more life and healing, as Jesus told me to do, because he told me to go out to all the nations and share the love of Christ with everybody, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Jesus didn't tell me. My wife told me. She told me.
Jesus told me. God told me.
He told me.
He told me to tell you.
Home,
Doug,
be home by Friday.
Doug, you shoot from the hip, man. I'll tell you. You're like me. Say what you say.
Hey,
Don't hold back, man. Well, I'm gonna close out with you guys, and me and Karen we're gonna talk about another topic that's we're gonna touch base on something. You guys can hang on the line. You can listen in. But
man,
Daniel,
I'm going to drive. I'm in some radical traffic here.
I can only imagine.
California people, they all need to go to treatment.
Well,
man. Driving skills.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
Dan Garcia! I tell you, Honor Walk 2019. This guy's got a long way to go. He just started out yesterday. People pray for him. I mean, pray for his safety. You know, pray that God touches him and Doug during their walk and they keep him safe. And you know, let God provide a hedge of protection around them both as they march along the country. And I guarantee you, Doug, I'm gonna get on there with you when I'm gonna catch a leg with you, man.
That would be cool.
Yeah, man. Arizona, Texas, and then
I'd like to do
big
Texas.
when we get to Florida.
Maybe we'll see a tornado.
Yeah, no.
No, you don't want that. I saw it in St. Augustine.
Well, I'm around Vinnie. You know I can cause a tornado.
Yeah.
So that's the plan. But all right, I'm gonna let you guys go.
Okay, drive safe.
Make
Godspeed
sure
to both of you.
Thank all the people, our sponsors, and
Absolutely.
enjoy yourself and pet my dog when you get home.
I
Kick the cat,
will,
pet
babe.
my dog.
I'll
Kick
see
the
you
cat, pet the
tomorrow. No.
Yeah, I love you, babe.
Love you too.
All right, everybody. Thank you, guys. Thank you,
Bye,
folks.
Danny.
We're gonna take
All right, Dan.
Thanks, Doug.
Danny.
Hey, man, love you guys, and I'll see you when you
Love
come
you too,
back in
man.
town, and we'll prepare myself to go out there with you.
Awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. Thanks for being such a good friend.
Oh,
to me,
dude,
Vinnie.
I give you the forefront of this whole podcast, man. I don't care.
Absolutely.
That's
Peace
my
out to
mission.
you.
That's my
Jesse-
therapy.
Jesse, the producer.
Yeah, Jesse the producer.
Jesse, the producer.
One day he'll get a goddamn garbage can in here.
Maybe he'll get on screen sometime.
And Karen's happy. Hey, Doug, Karen's happy because she got headphones this time.
I did. I got headphones. The very
Oh,
first
God.
the very first
Help me
time,
out.
our neighbor Darby, as soon as I got home, she ran across the street. Darby, I don't know if you're on tonight, but I hope you are because I have headphones. She was like,
Yeah.
"What? You just had a microphone?" So
All right, we're going to take a minute break, and we're going to come back and close it out with our final topic. So thanks, you guys. Love you guys. Be safe. Tune in just a minute.
Are you ready to explore the world? Travel to exotic locations and live your best life with Anytime Travel Solutions. Anytime Travel Solutions are your worldwide, unbiased concierge with access to real inventory of hotels, cruises, railroads, tours, and all of the best excursions. Anytime Travel Solutions realizes how fun it is to plan your own vacations, so we have the option to search vacations and book safely on our website, or you can visit us in our conveniently located offices in downtown Melbourne, Florida. Did you know travel is proven to benefit your health, both physically and mentally? We have 3 decades serving travelers and making dreams come true. So ask yourself, if not now, when? Call Ceci today to begin your adventure. Dial 321-779-4285 or visit anytimebookings.com. That's anytimebookings.com.
You're listening to Space Coast Podcast, home of the greatest podcasts on the Space Coast. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or having your own show, email us at spacecoastpodcast@hotmail.com.
Space Coast Podcast.
Talk hard!
Hey, welcome back to my strip show with music. I might have to change that. I might have to look up a little different venue because now every time it comes on, I think of a strip club. But, hey, welcome back. I want to thank everybody that was listening. We had man, I'll tell you what, that was a phenomenal interview all the way from California. Doug Monda and Daniel Garcia, the Honor Walk 2019. We're definitely going to be keeping tabs with them as they travel across the world here, or across the country. So we're gonna finish our last segment here. It's just gonna be me and Karen gonna shoot the breeze back and forth on some stuff. But
right on.
I wanted to touch on something that I forgot to touch on before, but I don't know if the hype's all over with it now. But it was bugging me then, and I think it might have died down. But this god dang Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. You've been following? I mean, it's all over the world. Are they screwing? Are they not? Are they kissing? Are they having an affair? I mean, enough of them two. Who gives a shit? That stupid song, Shallow. I think it was Shallow. I mean, that's all they did was talk about. It was all over YouTube. It was all over the news. Bradley Cooper, Lady Gaga, getting all cozy on one of the award shows that night. They were staring at eye contact, and his wife is sitting out there. I mean, she's hot, but I don't know. What do you think, Karen? Did you hear all the hype of them too?
I don't really know anything about that.
Well, I know something like a chick thing, you know?
I know something like very little about that. I know they did a movie together. I know that there
saw it?
Right, I did not see it. I know that there was some song that they did together that there was a lot of hoopla about. And maybe I've heard, like, you know, are they together, are they not? But I haven't really kept up with it.
Hollywood,
but like you said, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, God, everybody, it was just like, oh, I'm so glad they buried the story of Caitlyn Jenner. Oh my God, that was
I know.
Did you know that? Did you know that his daughter, Kylie Kardashian, is the youngest billionaire ever? 22 years old. She's a billionaire.
I think
selling cosmetic
products.
22 years old, cosmetics. Yeah, 22 years old, youngest billionaire ever. He beat out Zuckerberg.
I don't know. Maybe I should try those cosmetics out.
So let me tell you this: for those of you that have teenagers that are approaching the age of driving, my son he just turned 16, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, I want to get my operator's license." So I said, "Well, hold on a second. Let me call the State Farm and see what the hell my insurance is going to do."
Oh, yes. We've been there.
So, for an example, because I don't care about my business. I don't care airing my laundry out there. I don't care what you ask me a question. I'll tell you. I don't care. My insurance is costing me, that's homeowners, and I have a golf cart, so I got to have golf cart insurance. And my car insurance is costing me $640 every 6 months. Okay. I'm okay with that. So I called him up, and the lady says, "Okay, how old is your son? 16. Is he 3.0 or above?" Yes, he's actually 3.6, which is good. Proud of him.
Very good.
If he watches a stupid video and signs off on it, he gets another discount. So she tallied the numbers up over the phone, and she said, "Hold on, let me just make sure that's correct." I said, "Oh, that doesn't sound good." I said, "That's either too high or something's wrong." So she said, "Yeah, let me just double check it." So she said, "Okay, we got a figure." So for $640 a month, because my son is going to be driving, it goes to $1,492 every 6 months.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So I said, well, maybe he's not going to get a driver's license. But, well, she said, if you add a car and have a multi-car discount, that should save you some money. So we just spitballed a car in there. We threw in a 2003 Camry or some crappy thing like that with no payments, minimal insurance. And she said, well, that's going to be $1,553. I said, well, how the hell is that going to? Well, you added a car. I said, well, okay. So just for people to understand that, I don't know why, but when a kid turns 16 and you put them on your insurance, it's almost unaffordable. And that's why she said that people drive without insurance.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge issue down here in Florida. So if you don't have uninsured motorists and you're trying to save a buck, you better get it, man. I'm telling you. you got to have uninsured motors, people. If you don't have it, you got to pay it.
Yeah.
Or insurance altogether. Some people get lapsed, and then but
Well, and I want to say some insurance companies. I don't know who your insurance carrier
State
is.
Farm.
State Farm.
I mean, you got to start pricing them.
I want to say that some insurance carriers, if they find out that you have a teenager of age to drive, you automatically have to add them to your policy,
Right.
and then you cannot remove them from your policy until they can prove that they've had another policy. They've gotten
Or
their
death
own
certificate.
policy.
Jeez.
Well, we hope not that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's crazy. So here's another tidbit for you people. I do it maybe every year. I go around and start, calling insurance companies trying to get a better price, because you'll find that you'll get a better price if you start looking. Interest rates on your credit cards. Check your interest rate. If it's 14.9, 19.9, Capital One sucks. They're the highest interest rate card. I don't care how. My Beacon score is like 735. It's, that's great credit in this day and age. Even 650 is good, because they had that big crush where people were just, from bankruptcy, credit went to shit. But check all your bills that you pay and see if you're about getting a better rate. I did it, and I actually saved some money. So
and check your cable bill too, because man, I'll tell you what, those I know that's a whole nother show in and of itself.
We're going to talk about that.
They just, every year they go up because your promotion ran out, but they don't tell you, and it skyrockets by like $100. It's crazy.
Well, hey, this came to mind. For those in law enforcement, doesn't pertain to military, which is the first time I've ever seen something pertain to law enforcement and not military. If you have AT&T, this applies to you. If you don't have AT&T and you have a carrier that you're not really too happy with, AT&T is offering for law enforcement officers. It's called FirstNet. I switched. I had AT&T. They didn't call me to say, "Hey, we got a better deal for you." They don't. They don't call you anytime to tell you they got specials, rates, so I was paying $110 a month, and I had limited gigs, and everything was limited. And then I went in to get AT&T Uverse because I was sick of Spectrum. They told me, "Hey, you have a law enforcement?" I said, "Yeah." They said, "Hey, we got FirstNet. It's $40 a month. It is unlimited everything, everything. Hey, and you're on the tower of first responders because you won't lose service during a storm. So you're the first ones you're on the tower, and I got free hotspot, which it doesn't benefit me, but it benefits some freeloader who's sucking off my Wi-Fi." Producer Jesse, but and it gives you you don't get that that where they toggle you down after so many gigs are used. I'm telling you right now. So people, if you have AT&T or don't have AT&T and want to switch and save yourself a shitload of money, because I'm telling you right now, the average person with a cell phone, if you have any kind of service plan, you're paying $100-something a month. Then tack on if you get a phone, because I tacked on, I bought a new phone. The new iPhone XR sucks, by the way. It's costing me with the plan, with the phone, with the whole shit bang and caboodle. I think I'm paying like $80. That's with the phone bill. So if I didn't have the phone bill, I'd be down to like $40-something a month. So that's Vinny's tip of the day about the AT&T. So law enforcement, not military, they'll give you a discount, but not what you're going to get with FirstNet for law enforcement only. So check them out. Go to the AT&T or call them. You just got to verify your credentials, and they will sign you up, and you will save some big dineros, amigos. So Karen and I were going to touch base on something that we're going to discuss in a later show. But and this is something, and Karen, what's coming up in the next couple months? It's winter now because it's freaking cold.
Summer. I don't know why I'm so excited, because I don't enjoy it quite as much because I can't bake in the sun anymore.
And why can't you bake in the sun anymore?
Skin cancer that caused my face to have to go through reconstructive surgery about 14 months ago.
Yeah, and you were, and this is a woman here. I'm telling you, I told you on the first show when she was on, she's a tough cookie, man. She runs marathons, triathlons. She's tough, and what's even better, and she's like Doug. She's open about her business somewhat, but when it comes to awareness, like Doug is doing, she actually posted the effects, which is the best way to get through to people to know the severities of just going out there in the sun and cooking like a McDonald's French fry.
Yeah, some pretty gnarly pictures, huh?
Oh my God! And so we're gonna come up with a show we're gonna talk about skin cancer and our experiences, because I said OUR because I had the same thing, and I went in and I go every year, and then when they found a little bump on the back of my ear on the lobe, which I'm like, okay, how the hell did that happen? They cut it out. They said, oh, it's melanoma.
Yeah,
I'm like,
scary.
oh shit, I'm gonna die. I never had anything like that in my life. And I went to a surgeon, and they said, oh, we're gonna cut it out. Well, I thought, okay, a little snitch here, snitch there. They basically severed my ear in half and then left it wide open with a giant Band-Aid on it, like a big gauze bandage. And they said, oh, you're gonna leave it like that for, I think they only had it for a few days until they tested it, because they did the testing right there. So I didn't have to have it for a length of period of time. And they said it was melanoma, and they kept it open, and they said they got everything. And they sewed me up. I had 22 stitches in my ear. I mean, your ear ain't big, but 22 stitches. And Karen, if you want to just touch base on what basically happened with you, and then we'll get into more in depth with skin cancer, because I'm telling you, that's another serious topic, man. We like to be funny here, but sometimes we got to get serious.
Yeah. Well, back in 2016 in the summer, I noticed just a teeny tiny spot on the tip of my nose that you really could not notice. I asked my husband, what do you think about this? And he said, think about what? I see nothing. It just looks like a little scar. So it did not look like your classic skin cancer, but I felt like it was something, but I swore to him I was not going to the dermatologist yet, because we were about to get married in a couple months, and I would say to him, you're going to marry me before they cut my nose off. Like, as a joke, I would say that.
Right.
And it never appeared to grow, and so I just let it go. And about, maybe 12 months later, maybe 14 months later, I finally went into the dermatologist, and it wound up being a tiny, what they said, surface basal cell carcinoma. But they would have to do a procedure called the Mohs procedure.
I had that.
I chose to go to a plastic surgeon, which I am grateful to God that he pushed me in that direction, because when I went in for the procedure, they wound up taking the entire tip of my nose off, and had to cut me from my scalp down to my eyebrow and create this crazy flap. And I looked like a monster for a little while, but it was all good.
Yeah.
Skin cancer is a serious thing. I mean, melanoma absolutely can kill you. Basal cell carcinoma, squamous cell carcinoma. I believe if, completely left alone, eventually it could kill you, but it absolutely can disfigure you. It's taken 3 surgeries and 14 months of, doctor's appointments and laser appointments to get back to,
and it was just a tiny little.
Oh, you couldn't even see it. If you were looking at me, and I said, what do you think, as far as you are away from me, what do you think about this spot on my nose? You would say, what spot on your nose?
Yeah.
It was flesh colored. So
wow. Well, that's going to be something we're going to talk about in a lot more depth.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, man, I go every 6 months right now, because I had I go every 6 months, and then I went a few days ago, last week. And it seems like they do this quick little scan over you, but I guess they know what they're looking for. So they gave me another pass, so I'm good.
Good. Yeah, they should look at your. Well, you don't have any hair, so
no, they can see my head.
They should look at your scalp. They should look at between your toes.
Yep, they did that. They did
your
that.
fingernails. Doug, he. I hope that he's not listening, because he'll probably kill me because I'm telling this to everyone. But they got him in his butt crack.
He had something in his butt crack?
He did. He had a skin
They had to
cancer.
cut it?
Yeah, they did.
How the F
I
can
know.
that?
Well, here's what they
Does he
say.
lay naked?
No,
in the sun?
Here's what they say. He surfed his whole life. Been in the sun his
Oh,
whole life.
he has those baggy shorts that hang below his ass crack.
But just because, actually, yes,
Yes.
kind of.
I've seen a surfer's. Not that
you've seen his butt crack before.
I've never gazed at him, but I've seen him. So.
But just real quick, just because you get a sunburn on your face does not mean that the skin cancer is going to appear on your face. It can appear on the bottom of your foot. So I would love to come back and talk more about this.
And maybe you might even, if you are up to it, showing the before and after.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, it's awareness, man.
My Facebook is not public, but my Instagram account is public. And if anyone wants to go to that and scroll down a little bit, they'll know when they get to those pictures, and that might bring them back.
Well, God bless you, and God bless that you're having clean checkups like I am. So, but hey, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Thanks to Doug Monda and Daniel Garcia with Honor Walk 2019. Thank you to Karen Monda for coming in. She brought some.
Thank you.
Look at this shit. She brings in cannolis, man. And Doug was like, "What the hell are you bringing cannolis to them guys, man?"
I was going to bring donuts. You're retired cop,
Power rings.
but I couldn't find them.
Yeah, but we want to thank Karen, man. She's an amazing woman.
Thank you.
And we're going to have her back on again. We're going to have Doug. We're going to carry on. And then thanks again to producer Jesse for all his efforts to making that connection happen. So it was a little late, but it was a valiant effort, and it ended up paying off. So God bless everybody. Be proud. Be strong, man. Be American. Vinnie Marino Podcast, man.